And welcome back to another. I'm just joking.
Well, I was like, okay, she'd be an extra official today.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh, same old, same old. Can't complain.
Hmm.
What about yourself?
I would say today's the day I can complain, but I'm just not going to.
Sometimes it's better to just keep certain
Uh,
things to yourself.
yeah, I will say that today, like, even like last night, today, I've been super emotional,
Aw.
just all up in my feelings and so sad and lonely. I laugh while I say it, but just because I feel a little ridiculous at times, but
Yeah.
I've been trying to let myself feel my feelings and be real with how I'm feeling. Yes, thank you.
Proud, proud.
Kudos. Um, yeah, I've just been real sad about Chewy,
Hmm.
and that's part of my loneliness of not, having my dog here and having my company.
Right.
And I didn't realize how much company he actually was, till like
Yeah.
I'm just laying here on the couch last night and it's just like I miss petting him and kissing him on his head and
Hmm.
all the sweet little things and
Yeah, you just miss that comfort, that presence.
yeah, that little camaraderie we had and
Yeah.
even being greeted when I come home, like everything is freaking dry. Like there's no excitement when I come in the door or, I'm glad not to see his little sadness when I leave, but like, ugh, it's
Yeah.
just been weighing on me. And then I always share with all these dog videos and stuff like that. So it just, I don't know, it like makes me happy. Like dogs make me happy, but just when I'm here by myself, it's just
It's
no
tough.
dog.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
You might have been like, "Oh, I don't want to get up and like walk you. It's like freezing outside and whatever."
Right.
But like it's still, they still bring just kind of this warmth into your home and it's not something that, it's easy to adjust to not having that anymore.
Right. Right. So, yeah. And I don't want another dog to replace him. So that's just what it is. But,
Yeah, I don't blame you. Too
you
soon.
know, but I have reflected on the good. I don't believe I'd share this with you all, but um a few weeks back, so not too long, I would say halfway between now and when Chewy passed, I had got a phone call about an arrangement of flowers that were being delivered.
Secret admirer.
And I'm like, flowers? Where, I asked the guy on the phone, I'm like, where are they from?
Mm.
And he says, it says something about Chewy. And I'm like, oh, okay. So here I am just thinking, someone was kind enough to send me flowers about
Mhm.
my dog. So I had to call my cousin to come um put the flowers in the house because it was really cold that day.
Gotcha.
So then when I got home, because I was at work at that time, so when I got home, I looked at the card and there's these beautiful flowers. There's white and yellow roses
Oh, very pretty.
with a few others to complement, but
Mhm.
it was just this nice little set in this like mason type of jar. And so I read the card and it was just the typical we're sorry about your loss and you know just the condolences, and it said love Catherine.
Who's
And I'm
Catherine?
like, right. And I thought the same because I'm like, well, one, there's no Catherine at the vet we went to, so
Mm.
I don't know who Catherine is.
Like, who the hell?
so so now I'm lost because they're like, sorry about your loss of Chewy, blah 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 blah. Love Catherine from Chewy. And I'm like, what? But
Wait,
my
from
dog's
Chewy. Oh, right. You're getting
right,
to it.
right.
Ooh.
So when they spelled my dog's name, and then at the end from Chewy was spelled different.
Mm.
It was spelled like a granola bar Chewy at the end. And I put it all together that it was chewy.com, the website. And it all made sense to me because 2 days before I received these flowers,
Mm.
I had emailed them about seeing if I could return these auto ship treats that I had got and get a refund for them because obviously Chewy's not here anymore. You know,
Right.
he hasn't really eaten those treats for months because of him getting sicker and not just being into certain things anymore.
Mhm.
And they literally processed my refund that same day,
Wow.
like with no question. Didn't ask me to ship the product back. And then they sent me flowers 2 days later.
That's so cool. I love that.
I it made my day when that happened. Like
Mhm.
I was just so honored and felt like I've done business with such a good company. You know, their
Definitely.
customer service is like top notch, especially for, pet supplies and stuff like that. Just in
Mhm.
general, you don't really hear about stories like that.
Not at all, and it says a lot about the company too that they went out of their way to send you, a nice little gesture, and
Right.
you think about it and you're like, "Do they really do that for, like, everybody?" But
Right. Well, someone I work with said that they send out birthday cards when it's their dog's birthday. And I
Oh.
was like, "Wait a minute, I didn't get no birthday card for Chewy's birthday."
I was gonna say, how long have you, like, used them for?
Um, I don't know.
Oh,
Not long.
no, not like a year, a full
No,
year?
I would say like within the course of 2021. Like it wasn't,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, it wasn't long. But at the same time, I'm like, they did send me these flowers and stuff, so I wasn't that hemmed up about not getting a card for
Right.
his, birthday. But
Yeah.
and like it was a handwritten card. Like I'll have to post it on our page, so make sure you check it out. But it was, it was like a handwritten note,
Yeah, that's so cute.
you know. But yeah, so it was really nice. Like I really appreciate that. So, it's like a little highlight within there, but still miss my damn dog.
Of
Like,
course.
ugh, so I'm trying to come out of that funk because it's still lingering and you never really get past it, I guess.
No, and it's still fresh, like, it didn't happen that long ago,
No,
so
it's just over a month ago. It's like a month and 2 weeks, not that I'm counting or anything.
It's okay. I feel like that's a normal thing after, after you lose somebody. I
Right.
know I counted, like, I posted something, like, every Sunday after, so
Yeah.
for, like, weeks.
Yeah.
So I
So
totally get it.
that's if I were to complain about anything, the fact that I'm going through grieving right now and I'm not really trying to be in that place in my life, but it's just what is and I need to accept it.
Yeah.
So,
That's all we can do sometimes, and, you'll just like we do in our other situations, you'll learn how to, just kind of, like, adjust throughout that process, and
yeah,
there will be good days and there will be bad days, but definitely appreciate you sharing that because I know it's not easy.
thanks.
But on that same token, though, about receiving nice letters and cards, it kind of makes me want to bring up how small gestures like that can literally go a mile,
Mhm.
and how there is this hospice program that we actually used for my dad, that they would do something very similar. We didn't get like flowers or anything like that, but they did send sentimental cards. I want to say it was like right after the death had happened, and then they kept doing it. Maybe like, I don't know, a few months or something. I forget like the exact time frame, but it was very much frequent, right when it had happened. And then it kind of like slowed down to be like a yearly thing, like on the anniversary, just saying, like, hey, we're thinking of you. And there are like these resources that we have. And it was like, I never used any of them, especially because I do believe that they were a Connecticut based company. And so, I didn't live in Connecticut at the time. And so I wasn't going to just drop what I was doing to go to like a therapy session or like a whatever it was that they were offering.
On
Um,
the far side of the state at that.
right. But if I was in the area, maybe it would have been something that I did, but just knowing about it and having that resource, it was definitely like a nice gesture to have. And I'm grateful that they did kind of stuff like that, because even though it's like a little hard to like open it and read it, it had like a weird,
Comfort to it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that. And I really wish, it's been like racking my brain that I cannot remember for the life of me what the name of this company is. And I don't know, I don't know. I need to figure it out and find it because they are truly lovely. If you are in Connecticut and you are in need of hospice care, I would certainly recommend them because they are not all the same. We had another experience with the hospice care when everything was first going down, and I must say that it was anything but pleasant. Um,
Ugh, which is terrible. Like we were already going through enough of a crisis, and now we have some trashy service.
Oh, it was a nightmare. Like, I remember my mom was so pissed. Like, it was just they were so bad, and, of course, we always remember the bad things in life, and I remember the name of their company, but I don't remember the
Of
name of
course.
the good company. And there's no shame in my game, so I'm going to tell people that if you need hospice care, I would not go with Vitas because they are just not, I mean, maybe they work for other people because obviously they're in business for some reason.
Mm,
But I just remember when we were still trying to really like figure out and like process like what was happening because I didn't know what hospice truly meant at that time.
right.
And
It's
so
so unknown, I feel like.
it really is, and I feel like it gets a mixed. You're right.
There goes it. I almost made a whole episode without hitting anything.
Oh
Sorry.
God. Little intermission. Um, Now I just totally lost my train of thought. Hmm.
You're oh hell. We were talking about what hospice actually is.
Yeah, but I had
Welcome
to
to our real lives.
I had to stop. That's what I was going into. God damn it, Amanda. Well, okay, until I remember my thoughts, let's just go over for the people what hospice really is. Oh God. So hospice is pretty much end of life care. It means that somebody's gonna need that kind of like round of clock care up until that moment that they're no longer here with us on Earth. Um, and totally not something that I knew. I just thought like hospice, like you hire them because they come in, they care for your loved one because it's hard for family to be there 24/7. Because I don't think unless you've gone through it, taking care of a sick person is a lot of
Hell
work.
yeah.
It's
Hell
exhausting.
yeah.
And it's not something that just one person can do. Like it's a lot
It
having
takes a
to,
toll on you emotionally, physically,
yeah,
mentally.
especially if it's somebody that's like close to you, you know?
Mhm.
That's like so much worse and it's just ugh. So I was under the impression that hospice was there to kind of like take that role, to be able to care for them like so you can, go back to work and do whatever your normal life duties are and stuff. I didn't realize it meant that, this person is like dying.
Mhm.
That never once crossed my mind. Before, I know you didn't have as much of an experience with hospice as I did, but did
Right.
you know what hospice was?
So when it came to my mom, I understood for the most part at that point what hospice was, but we had hospice for my grandmother 10 years prior.
Oh, right.
And at that time, I wasn't really aware as to what hospice really entailed. I wasn't that engaged.
Hmm.
So, but when it came to my mom, I knew it was end of life care, but that's because of how involved I was with everything
Hmm.
and the state or condition rather that she was in. Um, I knew there wasn't any coming back because that the same day we actually got hospice care set up is the same day she passed away. So
Gotcha.
we actually didn't even end up utilizing that. So
Hmm.
she probably knew that that Vita group was coming and made her own decisions.
God, Vitas
Sounds like
is
a cruel joke, but but I really don't have a personalized experience. But it did take a while to actually understand what hospice care was.
yeah. It's just it's a hard thing to do, It's something that you don't want to accept. But they're such a crucial thing. I feel like, you know,
So explain your bad experience. Like,
God. So the one thing that I remember is this old lady just like kind of like came into the room and she was so I'm not gonna remember like exactly how it happened, but
mhm,
basically she was just pretty much like he's like dying. So you need to like sign over these papers and like we'll like take care of him kind of a thing. It was just very like cold, callous, like she had no compassion. It was like she hated life and she was just like straight to the point, which yes, it's respected, but like when
mhm,
somebody doesn't even understand what the hell hospice even means, you don't come in there and just say like he's dying now you have to like sign here here and here and like we'll like
right.
come in and take care of it or whatever. It was
That's a
just,
problem.
yeah, no, the whole vibe and feeling and stuff was just off. My mom was so pissed. She was like, if you don't get that fucking lady out of here,
Oh
like
my
she was,
gosh.
my mom
Oh, right. Right. 0 to 100 real quick.
oh definitely, especially something like that. So
Well, yeah, because it's just you think about it, and just in a general aspect, think about it, people. The better you do at your job, the better you impact others. So this lady, because how often did you deal with this lady?
it was like the first time we saw her.
And was there, and like, how long did you guys have that company for?
Not even a day. Like as soon we got rid of them so fast.
And you know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's like she literally could have just been having like a bad day or something for all anyone knows.
Right, maybe.
But for the fact that she wasn't able to separate herself from work or what she had going on or
Mhm.
had someone else fill in, that made your guys' experience terrible.
Oh, it was so bad. And I think too, they're like associated with the hospital too that my dad was in and trying to like get them to not be involved, I think was a struggle because they have that like deal or whatever with the hospital.
Like a contract, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But my mom was like, I don't fucking care what you guys have with them. They're like, nobody in that company is like coming anywhere near my husband.
Right.
And
Well, right. Because if this is what you start us off with,
right.
I'm all set. You know, I
Exactly.
lost my appetite. I'm not going to eat. You know, it's
Yeah, and
just,
I'm supposed to trust you when I'm not around, and
right. Right.
no,
Oh,
thank you.
gosh.
No,
I'm sorry they all even went through that.
it was horrible because I already told you, like, it was already a hard concept when that nurse had told us that, like, we had to take my dad off of the feeding tube.
Mhm.
So, like, just having this lady just like come in and just be so cold, it was like, lady, like you were in the wrong line of work,
Seriously.
just go somewhere. But
Mm.
that was a short-lived experience. I don't know how they're still in business, whatever. But this other company, and I apologize that I don't know what they're called. It's driving me nuts. But it was a huge like 180 from that experience. They were so loving, they were compassionate, they knew what they were talking about, they provided
Mm.
resources. They even provided us with pet therapy. I remember my mom like kicked me out of the room and had me go hang out with this guy and his dog just to like get
Aw.
out and like relax and just, use that time to.
Tell you, dogs really do it for you.
It really does. I love that little guy too. Uh, but it was such a pleasurable experience. Like for what we were going through, like it just felt so much better. Um,
Mm.
they knew what they were doing, and like I said, they just had those resources, and they took the time to like sit you down and explain to you, like what exactly is happening. They had like all these pamphlets that just kind of like really describes like end of life and like what happens and what that means, and it was so different. And God,
Reassuring, I bet.
yeah, definitely. And
Left you with some hope.
yes, and I know, like I said, like I know it's a scary thing. Because like one of my mom's best friends right now is dying of cancer, and
Mhm.
she like refuses to go on hospice, and I can't say that I don't blame her. It's terrifying, it's a scary thing. But I do think that they're extremely helpful because it just puts such a toll on the people that you love.
Yeah.
Now whether I mean, you can look at on that at either side. Like, is it selfish or is it, selfless? I don't know. But
Right. And it's hard too because it also the thought of hospice for those who do understand is kind of like that stamp on the end of life.
Yeah,
So, for her, if anything, that could also be like, oh, if I go with hospice care, then I'm checking off that box of "Well, this is it,
right, exactly.
and no, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. But if she were to have that mentality, I could see why.
Yeah, no, definitely, and, like, I totally get it, but I want to help people, like, truly understand, like, what it means. I believe that they also call it comfort care too, just because there's no, like, limitations because 'cause they're not trying to get you better. They're
Hmm.
simply just
Keep you
trying to make you
comfortable.
as comfortable as possible. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
and when people are going through that stage, it's such a crucial thing, you know?
Hmm. It's crazy,
It really
but
is. The
but
nightmares of
it's nice.
hospitals.
Yeah, but it's nice to have that as a resource because, like you said, it does take some weight off of the family's backs
Mhm.
of being able to have someone come in and keep that loved one comfortable because it does take on it puts a lot on people's backs.
It does. Like, me and my mom, we were, like, tag teaming. Like, if I wasn't
Mhm.
there, she was there, and it was, making sure the nurse gave him his meds and changing him and walking him to the bathroom, and
Right.
it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It really is.
I I sit here and wonder. I wonder if we had the same um the hospice that I had from my mom, the hospice care for 2.2 seconds
Mm.
because I did get the same thing of getting the letters and in the mail for the support groups and different things they were doing that they would invite us to and stuff like that. So
I wonder if the hospital, like, changed their hospice
I
program.
know because it's also been quite some time too. Odd to say.
Yeah, but maybe we were game changers and we, stopped that god awful hospice care from taking care of anybody.
I'm gonna give you more credit than me because I didn't even get to really utilize it.
Well, that's probably, I mean, they were extremely helpful, but,
Hmm.
if you get to a point where you don't need it, I feel like that might be for the best,
True. Very true.
maybe. Um, but yeah, I just such a tough thing to have to think about and a decision to make. I think my dad is actually the one that decided to go on hospice care too.
Mm,
Um, I remember my mom's told me this story before because I don't think I was there for like when that whole thing went down. But I'm pretty sure he that was at the point that like he just knew and he wanted to be comfortable.
yeah. How long did he have it for? Like when did it start?
So everything hit the fan July 3rd, something like that. It was like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Because I remember I left him in Boston on July 1st because I had a wedding to go to, and
Hmm.
then a few days later, I wanna say I think it was the 3rd of July, is when he was brought into the hospital, and I don't think he was there for a day or 2 before, like, I got there, and he had the whole conversation with me, and that happened, and
Yep.
then, his last day, was on the 30th, so
Right.
they were
Gotcha.
involved for, a little less than 30 days, I would say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, so, like Amanda said, she didn't really have too much of an experience, but if you guys have any questions about hospice care and stuff, I will certainly try to help answer. And if I don't know the answer, I will try to find the answer for you guys, because I do have that personal experience. Hopefully, you guys haven't had a horrific experience like me and my family did. But
Right.
I would be also curious to hear if you did, like, what exactly happened? Like, did you guys get rid of them? Were you afraid to speak up? Because I can see that being a thing too. I don't know. Just write into us and let us know like what your experiences are, so we can hear what other people go through too. I'm curious.
It'd be nice to know and share.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I am going to share this lovely, lovely quote that um, you kind of gave us for this episode.
Thanks, Mama.
Thank you, Cassie's mom. So it says, I had my own notion of grief. I thought it was the sad time that followed the death of someone you love, and you had to push through it to get to the other side. But I'm learning there is no other side. There is no pushing through, but rather there is absorption, adjustment, acceptance. And grief is not something you complete, but rather you endure. Grief is not a task to finish and move on, but an element of yourself, an alteration of your being, a new way of seeing, a new definition of self. Which that is a pretty awesome quote because that
It
literally is
is.
what I needed today with talking about grieving with Chewy and just accepting my feelings and realizing that it's not going to just go away,
Nope.
but I just gotta ride the waves. And, I even dealt with it the same way with my mom of just like, all right, push through, you good. And, lately I think it's just been harder with grieving over the both of them, but more so of Chewy because it's more fresh, you know.
Yeah.
It's a more recent experience I've had to endure. So remembering that it really doesn't go away, but just adjusting to it is
Mhm.
what would really help me to not get through, but deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that when I first read this, I was like, this just speaks volumes. Like, this
Hmm.
is like everything grief in in just like one little shot here.
Right.
I feel like some people who might not have experienced it, um, probably think like, oh, like you can grieve for like a week and then like you're good to go, like get your shit together. But that is just so not the case. Grief is
It's
something
not.
that you are going to deal with for the rest of your life. Like, oh,
There is no other side.
no. And that
But
that alone.
right, that like just that line,
Yeah.
but I'm learning there is no other side. It's like, God dog, I had a whole epiphany. There really isn't another side. I'm still on the same side I've been on,
Mm,
just changing how I deal with it.
exactly. Yeah. And that's, another reason why I'm so glad that we started this podcast is just because it's going to be a learning process throughout like the rest of our time here.
Yeah,
Because it's not something that you just say, "Okay, I have reached this level, like I'm good to go, I'm back to normal."
yeah.
It's things are gonna happen, like you said, you just had like this random, uh, you know, um,
Wave of sadness.
yeah, and that's just what it is. That's what happens, and I feel like it's important for us to remember that, and we just have to get through that moment, because it's not gonna last forever, but it's also not gonna be the
Mm-mm.
last time that you're gonna go through it either.
Right, right. Uh, grief. Oh, grief. Oh, good grief.
Oh, goodness.
What more can you say about it?
Not
But
much. I mean, that says it all, in my opinion.
yeah, no, this is very true.
It says it all.
My favorite time. My favorite time.
Oh,
So, as y'all know,
here we go.
with every episode, I just want to point out, in case you don't already know, your girl's here. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. All your favorite podcasting platforms as well. Mindset Talks Podcast. Instagram at Mindset Talks Podcast. If you go into our bio on Instagram, you can click the link and check out our website,
Whoop,
which
whoop.
will easily give you access to all of our episodes on YouTube, or you can listen through a podcast platform and just check us out, learn something new. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe because even if you may not need it, there's someone around who may need it. And you can help to supply them with us as a resource. Don't ever be afraid to DM or private message us or leave a comment on our page. And we're always looking to get back and give the best knowledge that we can. And if it's not something we've experienced, we'll find a way to find another resource for you just so that way we all can get through what we're going through.
Exactly. And with
Mm.
that, because Amanda just took all the thunder,
All of it.
we will talk to you guys next time. No, bye. Bye.